you can smoke weed. People just don't care where they smoke weed anymore.
Because middle school was horrible and high school wasn't much better. And then smoking seemed so much better than going to class and being miserable. Yeah. But I dropped out of school and now I'm getting my GED, but yeah, I would just skip like basically every class to smoke weed.
Drug use is a huge problem in high school. From Xanax, prescription drugs, cough syrup, marijuana. Everyone wants to chase after drugs. You know who the stoners are in class. They'll show up high. They're doing it before school, after school, during lunch. But eventually, my friends, all of them, they'll start good, but everyone's gonna start doing drugs. Your friends, everyone wants to try marijuana. If you don't do drugs, you're seen as an outcast, as a weird kid. You're not daring. You don't want to smoke. Why not? Everyone's smoking. Let's go to this party. For a Muslim in public school, your number one priority or goal is just to fit in. You want nothing to do with your Islamic identity, who we are, what do Muslims do. You just want to be like everyone else. You want to dress like they dress. You want to act like they act, do what they do. Otherwise, you're seen as an outcast. And if you tell anyone you're Muslim or you act differently, then they'll start making fun of you, making the comments, calling you an Arab. They say Omar's an Arab, Muhammad's an Arab. That people calling you suicide bombers, people passing by making tick-tick boom sounds. Osama bin Laden's my uncle, people would say. So you want nothing to do with Islam. In public school, zina's beautified. People are watching pornography in class. When that happens, you're seen as a macho man, tough guy, cool guy. He can watch it in class. A lot of the Muslim parents, they were immigrants to this country. They came not really knowing English. They didn't come and go to high school. They have no clue what's going on. You have like two personalities. You have one personality for the home, where you're like, you know, a good boy, where your family wants you to be. Then when you go to high school, it's completely different. Like freshman year in high school, everyone's listening to music. So you want to listen to music so you can fit in. You want to listen to the newest Drake like everyone else is listening to, the newest album that comes out. You want to listen to it so you can fit in. You're not seen as a loser or someone who can't afford to buy the newest music. But in general, the music's message, if you actually listen, it's calling to sex, money, and drugs. And when you're constantly getting fed that, you're hearing in school, all your friends are talking about it, it has an effect on your life. You want to live that lifestyle because it's glorified in the music you're listening. You hear the bad language to what it's calling, so your language changes as well. They're using all the cuss words, all these dirty words, describing the opposite gender. So it does have an effect on the way you think, the way you want to do things, act. Think about it, slow down, listen to what the music's calling to. If you sit down and think about it, the music's calling to no good. It's calling to relations with the other gender, calling to use of alcohol, the use of drugs, getting involved in gangs, shooting people, gang banging, all this negative stuff. The turning point in my life for the transition this was during Ramadan. It was the summer. I was away from high school. I wasn't in contact with my friends as much. Before, I never came to the masjid. I had school, but if once in a while you have Jumu'ah off, I would come, but I'd wait till the khutbah was over. Come in, just make the salah, leave. Why am I wasting my Friday? Why am I wasting, an hour, 30 minutes? Just come sit down, listen to some guy talk about what seems nonsense. You have no clue. You don't care what he's saying. A brother came up to me. He said, "Do you know what your name means? You know who Umar is?" I had no clue. I had no interest in who he was before. But when this brother told me this time, it had an effect on me. Who is this guy I'm named after? Who is Umar? I came to find out there's a lot about Islamic history and who Umar is. Islam in general I had no clue about. One of the brothers had sat me down to tell me his story. He had chased money, chased fame, but in the end he told me he had never found happiness. And then he asked me a question that really stuck with me. He asked me, what is your purpose? Why did Allah create you? That question really hit home with me because I didn't have an answer at that time. I wanted to be like everyone else. No one really knows their purpose in life. Just survive high school, act cool, hang out with the popular kids. I kept thinking about the questions, how could I not know the purpose of my life? I had no answer for it. It just stuck with me. I spent the whole month in Ramadan. I've never done this before, some night prayers, some morning prayers. By the end of Ramadan, I was basically living in the masjid. And Ramadan's over, school year's almost starting, summer's over. But it hit me all of a sudden, I didn't want to go back. I can't go back from what I had seen in masjid, how I was acting in the masjid, to go back to high school and be a completely different person. There had different programs going on. It was knowledge like I've never learned before. It's not like what you learn, math, chemistry, science. This is knowledge I actually felt like I wanted to learn. I had a strong desire to learn it. I heard there's an Umrah group going from my local area, and so I ended up going. When I walked into Mecca the first day, we had performed Umrah. When you see the Kaaba, when you're making tawaf, when you're praying and you're making all the salahs in the haram, it's a completely different experience. You feel this peace, inner peace like you've never felt before. I was trying to figure out, how can I stay here? I don't want to go back. So, subhanAllah, one of the brothers mentioned to me that there's a university, an Islamic university. So he told me, why don't you apply? And when I had found out that I could stay here and learn the deen, it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So I went ahead and put an application. I'm last year of high school, almost finished. And alhamdulillah, recently I just found out I got accepted to Medina University.
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah.